it was a really tough wicket, especially to start on. And unfortunately, we just couldn't get through that period and, couldn't finish it off. So, disappointing end to the night.
You just talk a bit about the pitch. I suppose it's a bit different to one-day pitches we've seen, particularly in England in recent years. What's it like to bat on and to bowl on?
Yeah, it was a used wicket. So we used that 2 nights ago. It was more like a day 5 test wicket, day 4 test wicket, where it's just a bit up and down. You saw some guys still bat quite well on it. Once you're in, you can get there, but also it felt like you could really squeeze and just not that true bounce that you normally expect over here.
Julian Geyer.
Evening, Pat. I just wondered if you could describe the mood in the dressing room when Aaron and Marnus are going well, and all of a sudden the collapse is on. I mean, what's it like to sort of how do you sort of stop panic from sort of spreading? And what was the mood like as the wickets went down?
I think having fielded 50 overs on that wicket, we knew it was really going to be really hard work. So, obviously really happy when Marnus and Aaron were going, along nicely. But I think I heard at one stage the commentator saying, they're going along, beautifully here. They're walking at home, whereas none of us were thinking that. We knew the last 80 or 90 runs were going to be hard work on that wicket, especially as the ball got a little bit softer and older. So, the mood was pretty good, to be honest. Everyone, I'm sure came up with their plans and their ideas. There was no, real nervousness or anything. We've all played a lot of cricket, so just a tough finish in the end.
Andrew,
thank you.
Hi, Pat. Owen's talked a lot in the build-up to the series about how obviously England have played on belters at home in recent times, and they really want to change the mood and have tougher wickets to prepare for future series in India and what have you. I mean, is there stuff that you can learn from this sort of wicket going ahead, obviously with the World T20 and 2023 as a long-term goal? Are you able to sort of take this on board and think, this is actually quite useful to have this sort of day?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I'm glad he said that as a bowler. I'm always happy to have something more in the wicket. For sure. I think the obvious example is on a really good wicket, you death bowl and you go to Yorkers, you might go slower balls, bounces. Here it's that tossing up whether, what's the hardest ball to hit? Is it a Yorker or maybe it's the top of the stumps? And maybe you can, keep the fields in for longer. Spinners might have more of an impact. So, I really enjoy it. It makes you think differently, come up and try and problem solve.
Martin Smith.
Just on that, is it fair to say that you might sort of cop a lot of these wickets this summer as well? Obviously, given the circumstances where there might be a lot of games played on a venue in a shorter space of time, if that eventuates, do you expect that these sort of pitches might come up a bit more often when you're playing on worn surfaces?
It's hard to say. I've got no idea. I think it's different here in England. They've only really had the two stadiums. Hopefully in Australia, we can get around to all the states. But I think something that we always talk about in tournament play, in World Cups, is that towards the back end of the wicket, you are more likely to get these kind of worn wickets where, maybe spinners and maybe you're not going to get the 350 runs that you might get at the start of the tournament. So, everywhere you play in the world, one day you're going to come up with these kind of wickets.
And just one on that last wicket partnership or the 9th wicket partnership that England had. Was there any would you do anything differently against those guys? Would you bowl differently if you had your time over?
Absolutely. I'll get my head around that tomorrow. I'll have a little bit of look at footage. There's a couple of things. As I said, on that wicket for 40 overs, it felt like good length bowling was the hardest to hit, and then suddenly they started hitting them quite nicely. So, we'll have a review for sure. We kept them down in those last 10. I think we went for 80 odd. We're suddenly only chasing 200, and it's a different game. But what I will say is, Adil and Tom are both really good batsmen, so they might be batting 9 and 10, but for sure when they walked out, we knew that they're still can really hold a bat.
And apart from that last little bit at the end was another pretty good bowling performance, albeit on a pitch that helped you out. You just talk a bit about some of your bowling teammates and how they went today.
Yeah, another class performance, I thought, from everyone. Joshy Hazelwood, he's world class in his format, and he keeps showing at this tour. Starkey, I thought, the way he bowled, especially having a bit of a twinge and uncertainty whether he was going to play or not. Amazing effort and so consistent with that new ball. And then, someone like Zamps, his big role as a spinner is taking wickets through the middle. So he continually does that. I think he's, absolutely world class. And Mitchy Marsh, having not bowled too much in white ball cricket lately, really doing a good job. So, yeah, really happy with how, the first 40 overs went. Obviously, we changed a bit the last 10 overs. But overall, lots of good stuff to take out of it.